Hey everyone, welcome back to this video. So last time when we left off, we had this ball moving and we can change its direction by pressing on the screen or touching on the screen. So in this video, what you're gonna do is we're gonna do some mechanism so that the ball doesn't move for the very first time. It starts moving only when we touch the screen for the first time, and then it gets a velocity and then it starts moving. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do in this video. So let's get started. So here in the ball controller script, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to create a float variable. Oops, not float variable, create a bool variable, and I'm going to call it started. Okay, so this variable will take care of if our game has started or not. And if it is started, only then it will add a velocity to the ball. Otherwise, it won't add any velocity to the ball. Okay, so let's do that. So in the update function, before checking this mouse down, what you're gonna do is we're gonna check if not started, that is if the game has not started yet. Then we're gonna check if input dot get mouse button down 0. So if the game has not started yet, and then if we press the mouse button, then what you're gonna do is we're gonna just right click and cut this code and paste it right there. So what we were doing in the start, we're gonna do that here. In the start, we were adding a velocity to the ball from the beginning, but instead of that, here we will check if the game has started yet. If it has not started yet, then if we are clicking the mouse button, then we are going to add a velocity to the ball. Otherwise, there won't be any velocity added, so the game won't get started. Okay, so let's go and test that. So if I go back to Unity and run my game, now as you can see in the beginning, the ball doesn't move. But now if I press the mouse button or touch on my screen, now as you can see, now the ball gets a force and it starts moving. Though the problem is when the ball starts moving, now we cannot move it anymore. Okay, as you can see, the ball starts moving whenever I press it for the first time, but after that the ball doesn't move anymore. So what we are doing wrong? As you can see here, we are checking if it has not started yet, and then we are doing this. So what we need to do is, after checking this, when the game has already started, then what you're gonna do, then we're gonna say started equals true. So if started is true, then this code will not get called anymore. This exclamation sign means not started. This is the opposite of started. So if the game has not started yet, only then we are doing this. So after doing this, we need to say that started equals to true. That means the game has started and we cannot do this anymore. So now it will again go in the normal way that we are doing in the first time. One more thing we can do is, in the start function, in the beginning we can say started equals false. Even if we don't do this, the started will be false by default from the first time, but it's always better to do it so that you can see and you can get confirmed what we are doing in the code. So now let's get back to Unity. And now as you can see, this time if I run this game, and now if I touch, now I can again move because started is now false. Started is now true, and we can actually move our ball again. One more thing I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to set the camera to this. Set the camera in a position so that it looks exactly like this in the game view also. Okay, so in order to do that, first of all, we need to set up this scene view to a position which we actually want. Let's say I want this position, or what you can do is you can press the Control key on your keyboard. Press the Alt key on your keyboard and press the mouse button, left mouse button, and by doing that you can move your scene and place it to any position you want. Let's say I want it to be at this position. Then I want to do something so that our camera automatically comes at this position and our game view comes automatically at this position. Okay, so in order to do that, what we can do is we can select this main camera, go to game object, and here you can see an option called align with view. What this does is this aligns the camera so that it comes in a position so that the same thing which you're seeing in the scene view will be shown in the game view. Okay, so let's test that. I'm gonna select the main camera, go to game object and click on align with view. And as you can see, now our game view is same as our scene view. Okay, so now we can align and move the camera so that we can actually position it in a position that we actually want. So I can select the main camera by selecting this, and I can move it to a position where I actually want. Let's say for the X and Y, I move it to a position so that it becomes at the center. It comes at the center. Okay, so I think this should be good. And this should be good enough for our game. Okay, so as you can see, now it looks good and the position is now perfect. And whatever we are seeing in the scene view, we can see that in the game view as well. So that's it for this video. In the next videos, we will see how we can control the ball more, how we can detect the ball from falling, and we will generate the random spawning platforms.